Hey everybody, it's time to dig into Green Lantern number 5, written by Jeremy Adams with art by Zermanico, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by Dave Sharp. The title of this issue is Gift of Fear. Sinestro is taking control of Carol's drone jets and is using them to attack population centers around the world. The military's attempts to stop the drones are all met with failure, which is ironic because it was the military that told Ferris Aircraft to make the drones so formidable in the first place. Hal flies off to intercept the drones while Carol directs him from the control tower. The targets are all over the world: Las Vegas, Tokyo, Moscow, Washington, D.C., and they're all going to be hit at roughly the same time. Hal moves as fast as he can, way faster than he's usually willing to move within an atmosphere, and manages to catch up with 2 of the drones in time to destroy them before they could strike their targets. But there isn't time to catch up to the others, so Hal tries something desperate. He flies up as high as he can without his ring turning off, and sends out 2 constructs at the same time in opposite directions across the world. He'll be relying on Carol's team in the Ferris Aircraft control tower to monitor both the drones and his constructs, so they can tell him how to adjust the course and speed of the constructs to make sure they intercept the drones. This plan is especially risky considering what we saw happen last issue, when Hal had trouble maintaining 2 constructs at once under extreme circumstances, and that was contained to just Coast City, while this is on a global scale. It's a struggle, but they managed to destroy the final 2 drones without a second to spare. It's worth mentioning that Carol's fiancé Nate is the one who built the satellite communicators that Carol used to help Hal during this crisis, and it was Nate himself who guided Hal's constructs to their targets. I'm starting to wonder a lot of things about Nate. Will this experience make Hal warm up to him at all? Will Nate recognize that it was Hal's voice over the headset? And if my wild theory about what's going on behind the scenes is true, can we trust Nate? But for now, let's focus on the devil we know. Hal finally confronts Sinestro and lays out the whole plan. Sinestro wants to go home, but he needs a massive supply of fear to jumpstart his yellow ring, so he launched a global attack to make the population afraid and then access that fear with his ring. But Hal was able to mitigate the damage and calm everyone down, so Sinestro's plan ended in almost complete failure. Hal undermined Sinestro's plan so thoroughly that it filled him with a seething anger. Sinestro told Hal that there's something wrong with the emotional spectrum. And we see that on full display when Sinestro's rage boils over, and his yellow ring erupts with the power of a red lantern. Now, I want to talk about this reveal for a moment, because it's something that I never would have seen coming. A complete surprise that would have absolutely blown me away. Unfortunately, someone at DC apparently doesn't care about the reader's experience very much, because they spoiled this reveal months ago in the solicitations for this issue. And you might think it's my own fault for reading solicitations in the first place, which is fair. Except that they also spoiled it on the cover of this issue. Sinestro is front and center glowing red with text that says Rage of the Red. Something that I value very highly is the ability to experience a story the way the storyteller intended me to the first time through. If there's a big reveal on the last page of issue 5, then even if I'm able to predict it, nothing should confirm it for me until I reach the last page of issue 5 and see it for myself. Because a story isn't just a bullet point list of events that took place, it's a journey, and discovery is a massive part of the fun. You can point to all sorts of studies and opinions that all say people enjoy stories more when they know the twists in advance, but that disregards the fact that the spoiler-free experience can only ever happen exactly once, and then it's gone forever. And it would be really nice if whoever is in charge of overseeing the solicitations and covers actually gave a damn about the reader's ability to enjoy the story. I guess it's appropriate that this issue ended with a discussion of disappointment and an outburst of anger, since that largely mirrored my own experience with the issue. Though I want to make sure it's clear that this is not the fault of the creative team. Writers don't do their own solicitations, and they don't have any say in what goes on the cover. And covers have to be approved before they get used, so I wouldn't blame the artist either. This is somebody higher up on the chain making bad decisions. It doesn't change the fact that the writing and the art in this book is still good, and I'm still very interested to see where the story goes. I just wish there weren't so many unnecessary, thoughtless choices ruining my experience as a reader. Okay, well, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about what this moment means. Sinestro is right, something is wrong with the emotional spectrum. It actually went through a big change fairly recently. The previous run of Green Lantern by writer Jeffrey Thorne ended with one of the main antagonists absorbing and combining several aspects of the emotional spectrum. Everything connected to the Green Lantern Central Battery, the Star Sapphire Central Battery, and the Blue Lantern Central Battery were all fully absorbed into a single person, as well as a ton of magic. When that person understandably started to explode, John Stewart used his powers as an ascended being to contain all of those different energies and combine them into something new, some cosmic concoction that's never existed before. It took the form of a large swirling ball of light sitting on the planet Oa and is able to power multiple different lantern cores at once, although not in the way they all want. Some Green Lanterns, against their will, started channeling the powers of Star Sapphires and Blue Lanterns. It's actually very similar to what's going on with Sinestro right now, although I'm curious about the fact that he can channel rage energy at all, since we didn't see any aspects of the spectrum other than green, blue, and sapphire get mixed together in the previous run. Although, if the emotional spectrum is one big multifaceted force, then I suppose it would be impossible to tie one end of it up into knots without having some sort of impact on the rest of it. I'm very curious to see what's going on with the Red Lanterns, the Indigos, and Larfleeze right now. Do their central batteries still exist? I think they do, based on what we saw happen during the formation of the new power source, but maybe they're all now prone to outbursts of the wrong emotion like we see from Sinestro here. The Red Lanterns, the Indigo Tribe, and Larfleeze are all totally dependent on their specific powers to maintain their way of life. If any of them suddenly stopped experiencing their normal primary emotion, it could change everything for them. The Indigo Tribe, for example, is made up entirely of the universe's most sadistic criminals, kept in check by the power of compassion. So if that compassion were suddenly turned off and replaced with literally any other power on the spectrum, you would instantly have a core of incredibly dangerous people who are all armed with a devastating amount of power. The Indigo Tribe could easily become the most deadly Lantern Corps of them all if their Indigo Light could be replaced with something else. All of this also makes me wonder about Hal's newfound ability to make constructs in different colors. Is he actually just shifting the way light reflects like he thinks he is? Or is he starting to access other parts of the emotional spectrum? Right now, we're in the part of the story that's the most interesting to think about, where we know just enough to start theorizing, but not enough to know for sure what's going to happen. We have a lot of details and breadcrumbs, and there are so many directions they could all lead. I only hope that the destination we arrive at is as satisfying as the journey it takes to get there. But more than anything, I hope that the powers that be at DC will go back to allowing us to discover big meaningful reveals in a natural way, and stop spoiling their own stories every chance they get. So that's my take on Green Lantern number 5. Now I want to hear what you think. Is Sinestro a good fit for the power of rage? What's going to happen with Carol's fiancé Nate? Can Ferris Aircraft survive being the cause of an international incident? Let me know in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Because new issues of Green Lantern books are coming out as fast as I can review them, and I hope you'll come along for the ride, because now is a great time to be a Green Lantern fan. So thank you for taking the time to watch. My name is Dan. We'll talk again soon.